interference against his Tampa Bay defense. Touchdown, John Kuhn.
Klieman. No Patriots until tomorrow night when they play host to the Chiefs, but plenty of other stuff to talk about on K-Sports Sunday. We'll check in on the Green Bay Packers going for their 10th win, again, with no losses. Maybe they should look at a 2007 video of the Patriots. How'd that work out for them? The Bruins keep up their winning ways and now have won 8 games in a row on the hot stove. The Red Sox are making their move on Bobby Valentine, who could be their next manager. And the next big star in the NFL looks like it'll be Tim Tebow of the Denver Broncos. But first, we'll start in the NFL. The Packers, Aaron Rodgers continues to play MVP football, and his team, the Packers, just continues to win. Let's go to Lambeau and look at the highlights. So here, got the highlights coming right up for you of this Packers game. Here we go. We got B.J. Raji running in for the touchdown. The big defensive back from BC makes it 7-0 for the Packers in the first quarter. The big guy running it in. What a move, getting by all those Buccaneers defensive linemen. Later in the second quarter, with 2 minutes left, Aaron Rodgers looking, resetting the play, throws to Jordy Nelson for the touchdown. That will make it 21-10 Packers, and Nelson is pumped. It almost looks too easy for him. Jumps up into the Packers faithful, into the crowd, and starts to go crazy. Then in the fourth quarter, the Bucs are driving down. Josh Freeman to Mike Williams for the touchdown to make it 21-19. A big play there. Then the Buccaneers are going to end up going for the 2-point conversion, and they have a wide-open Kellen Winslow. Oh, but he drops the wide-open catch. As you can see, the ball is a little bit behind him, but it's definitely a catchable ball. That was tough for the Bucs in this big game. Should have made that catch, would have had it, would have tied the game. Disappointment. Later in the fourth quarter, John Kuhn of the Green Bay Packers runs in for the touchdown, making it 28-19, and that would seal it for the Packers as he jumps into the crowd. The final in that game would be the Packers 35 and the Buccaneers 26. Now let's go to the scores of the week right now. We've got the Jets losing to the Broncos 17-13. The Ravens beat the Bengals 31-24. So we move on to some more scores. We've got the Browns beating the Jaguars 14-10. We got Chris Ogbanyana of Cleveland with a big game on the ground. The Lions came back to beat the Panthers 49-35. We also have the Packers, as you just saw, beating the Buccaneers 35-26. The Dolphins crushing the Bills 38-5. Things don't look good for the Bills right now. The Raiders beating the Vikings 27-21. And in overtime, the Cowboys beat the Redskins 27-24. Now let's turn to the Patriots and Chiefs on Monday Night Football. The Patriots are coming off one of their biggest wins in the regular season when they beat the Jets 37-16. The story in that game was defensive end Andre Carter, who had 4 sacks of Mark Sanchez. The Pats once again will be short defensive backs and linebackers for tomorrow night's game. Devin McCourty is doubtful, Dane Fletcher is out, and Brandon Spikes is out. Perhaps the biggest loss as far as personnel goes is the fact that the Chiefs will be starting a rookie quarterback because Matt Castle is out for the rest of the season with an injury. Our first video blog today is on how injuries have impacted the NFL this season and, of course, everybody's fantasy teams.
Hello, I'm Liam Mahler for YBA Sports, and today I'm here to talk to you about the injuries this year in football and what it's like to be an NFL football player. First, here are 3 key injuries this week in the NFL. First, Adrian Peterson is out with an ankle injury. Secondly, we have Peyton Hillis still out with a hamstring injury. And finally, we have Michael Vick out with a rib injury. So what's it really like playing in the NFL? Former New York Jets player Chris Jenkins talked about the pain football causes. Jenkins said when describing what it's like inside an NFL pileup, "I've had my ankles twisted. I've been bit. I've done stuff. I've tried to break guys' elbows, pinching people, twisting ankles, trying to bend up their arms, pop an elbow out. Why? I had to fight back." That's a first-hand account of an NFL life. For more, check out the article on the New York Times. So with all these key injuries, how will your fantasy team fare? Here are some thoughts on how I would replace some of these key injuries. First, you can think of Tyler Placko of the Kansas City Chiefs. He'll be going up against the Pats this week, and they have a terrible pass defense, so look for him. Then Jackie Battle of the Chiefs today. He could be relied on heavily without Castle. Lastly, there's Jason Avant, who could be having a breakout game with Jeremy Maclin missing. But without Michael Vick, who knows? I'm Liam Mahler for YBA Sports.
It was late. It wasn't unfair.
Fourth quarter we go. The Jets are up 13-10. Tim Tebow on 2nd and 2, running it himself.
Do what you do, Tebow.
Now we are shifting gears to NASCAR. Today is the final race, the Ford 400 at the Homestead Miami Speedway. In the chase for the Sprint Cup, currently Carl Edwards is in the lead with Tony Stewart in second. As the 10-month season comes to a close, many new changes are coming for the high-speed sport. Former IndyCar race driver Danica Patrick will join the big boys of NASCAR for the Sprint Cup races starting at the Daytona 500 with Stewart Haas Racing, which is owned by Tony Stewart. Another big change to NASCAR is to change to the electric ignition instead of the carburetor system that they currently use. This will be a NASCAR-wide change. Many drivers and crews have already started thinking about them changing their strategy for next season. Let's see what the crew on the back talk set have to say about the final race of the season.
Thank you, Max. I'm here with Tom and Ashley. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey. So we're talking about NASCAR. I know, Ashley, you like it. On the other hand, Tom and I, not so much involved. What's your think about these new changes?
Well, I mean, definitely, I'm definitely psyched that Danica Patrick is going to be joining the big boys in NASCAR, not just Indy. But I know that NASCAR is not a big YBA sport because not a lot of people like NASCAR, and I think it's because you guys don't drive. You know, you guys are not drivers yet, you don't have your permits, you don't have your licenses and stuff, but it's a hard thing. There's a lot of strategy, there's a lot of stuff going into it. It's not just, oh, he's sitting on his butt for 4 hours, 5 hours racing.
Driving straight, turning left, and a few pit stops here and there, really hard.
So would you classify this NASCAR as a sport or a hobby?
A hobby because it's just a contest. There's no, physical athletic things. You're just focusing
Tom, can
driving.
you sit down for 6 hours on end, not moving, not getting up, not walking around? How many times do you take a road trip somewhere and you're like, Mom, I have to stop and stretch my legs. I'm getting antsy. Can you sit down and concentrate for 5 hours straight? I don't think so.
My sister can't. I can, on the other hand. I am very patient. I'll have you know that.
There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of strategy. They do bump drafting. There's teams. It's not just, oh, Jimmy Johnson's out there, but all of the different racing teams that have drivers in it, they're looking for who can make the best move and who can do what they need to do. So if, they want Jimmy Johnson to run, they're going to have all their players in place to do different stuff. So there's a lot of strategy for it. And I think if you guys want to be sportscasters, you should check it out because it's something you're going to have to talk about someday.
Yeah. Sadly. But I can't watch it because it's just them racing around the track in circles for 206 hours. I can't pay attention to it.
I agree with you. My boyfriend loves it. He watches the whole race. I'm like, let's flip back and forth every once in a while, see what happens. But it's still an important thing to understand. It's a big sport. A lot of people like it, especially if you live in the South.
Well, I would only, if people would force me to go, I would go there for the crashes, the
Oh, so death and destruction is what would make you want to go see a race?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you guys for your input. Now we'll go back to Max.
Coming up on K-Sports Sunday, break up the Bruins? No way. But then again, they might never lose again. Plus, we'll talk about the NFL's latest phenom, Tim Tebow. We'll be right back.
All right, again.